Hello and welcome to the Prospect Blueprint. This is a live recording from the Stanley Glickman Theater in Calabasas, California. You can see behind me the beautiful confines. I'm not going to move my laptop here because it'll probably ruin this podcast. Wires will become disconnected. Nonetheless, this webcast, as you know, is for prospects, coaches, and those who support those prospects so they best understand what it takes to get from one level to the other, whatever that level may be. I'm Kelly Kleinman, and my battery mate is Mr. Rick Dempsey, 24-year MLB vet and fan favorite with the Twins, Yankees, Orioles, Brewers, the Cleveland Indians, and, of course, the Dodgers. He was also the 1983 World Series MVP for the Baltimore Orioles, might have won a second MVP if it wasn't for this guy's favorite team. Who's our guest today? I'll tell you. He is Mr. Jim Chester, coach of Gardner-Webb University, and that's an exceptional ball club that he's managing out there. It's a terrific university in beautiful North Carolina. The club is currently kicking ass. I think you're 21-10. You're looking to continue your winning ways, and I'm sure you will. Folks, you're going to like this coach. He's a heck of a guy. He's got what I call a great demeanor. Little bit of history behind Coach Chester. He led Gardner-Webb to 29 wins in 2021. His first full season at the helm. That included a 27-13 mark and a tie for second place in the Big South Conference standings. Gardner-Webb's highest finish since joining the league prior to the 2009 season. He comes from Barton College, where he won there too. And Rick, he likes dogs and long walks, soft breeze, his favorite band. Now that's the other podcast we do. I think we have the next Augie Garrido. This coach knows how to win. Rick, he's all yours.
Okay, I'll tell you what, Coach, it's a pleasure to have you on. Kelly and I have been doing this for quite a while right now, and I'll tell you what, I am so impressed with college baseball coaches because they've got a passion like I feel like I had at the major league level. You guys have been incredible so far. And so we have not had one bad interview at all. Now, I'm not trying to put any pressure on you because it's up to us to make sure we had good questions. But, man, of course, your team is playing really well.
Rick, you swung and missed. You know what you forgot to do? You forgot to put on your video.
Oh, geez. Okay, hold on.
Ladies and gentlemen, he is not that great with technology, but he sure is a damn good-looking guy.
All right, can you see me now? Yeah, okay. All right, there we go. Okay, like I said, man, you guys have been spectacular, and you have the passion for baseball that I've always had, and that's why I've enjoyed talking to all of the college coaches that we've interviewed, and you're just going to be another one just like it because obviously you're off to a pretty good start. Has your team met all the expectations that you expected of them from the very beginning? And, the second half, are you expecting to be even better? Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, everybody in our clubhouse thought we were going to have a good club this year. We returned the right pieces. We added the right players. We got the right guys getting off the bus. The culture is amazing. We also said we feel like we're talented. I think most importantly, we can pitch it. I guess I've always believed if you can pitch it a little bit, you got a chance. And, we definitely felt we'd be in a position where we're at right now. I mean, we're 21-10. We're 9-3 in our league. We feel like we're in a place where, we put ourselves in position to make a run here, for the rest of the season and hopefully contend for a regular season championship.
One of the things that probably would have kept me from becoming a college coach after baseball was the recruiting. What made you want to become a baseball coach, a college baseball coach anyway? You have to deal with recruiting. You get a good team together and all of a sudden everybody's gone and now you got to rebuild again. It can be real frustrating, I imagine.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you've got to have, you got to be a little different. You got to have a passion. I mean, there's just it's really, 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 stressful / aggressive profession in regards to the recruiting. I mean, it's funny because, my wife and I are at a function or something and someone says, well, what do you do for a living? And I go, I'm a college baseball coach. And most people go, that sounds fun. I think they think we order T-shirts and throw batting practice. And I can't even get into like, we're at the field today for, we're in season now, so it was a little less, along with a lift. I mean, around 2.5 hours, 3 hours. And, and again, that's just, I mean, that honestly was like 10% of the day, in a lot of ways. I mean, from the recruiting aspect, and fundraising is a big deal with what we got. And I hope I can share a little bit later about our facilities and what we have. And, it's just an arms race day in and day out. And just, and then dealing with the players. I mean, like, and I mean that in a positive way. I mean, there's just, we got to make sure our club's taken care of and our guys are in a good place. And, and then their academic piece. I mean, I can go on and on and on and on about what we've got to do on a daily basis, but it's, it's definitely, it's a rewarding profession. It's a stressful one. It's very gratifying though, too. It's very disappointing. I could use a lot of adjectives to describe, some of the feelings that go on in a lot of different ways. But, I got my love, was not a great player. I played Division III baseball, was a 4-year player. All that. My college coach comes from a very successful college baseball family. I played for Joe Shawley. His father, Don, was the head coach at Marietta for a long time with a gazillion wins. Anyway, they're the family's strong. So when I got to college, I had a great experience. And I thought I wanted to be a teacher and a high school coach. And my coach told me at my senior meeting, you should get into college baseball. And let's fast forward 20 years, and here I am on the Zoom. So it's I was glad that he recommended that. And, it's been a journey. It's definitely been a journey. Someone told me this year, I don't know how true it is or not, but I think I'm the only Division I head coach that's been a junior college head coach, Division III, Division II, and now Division I. So I definitely, I've been at the depths of this stuff. We could do a whole Zoom on some stories of the lower levels of college baseball. Because I get a kick out of it. I'll get coaches all the time. They'll say, like, at an event or something, "Oh, you don't understand what we're dealing with." I go, "Oh, no. I know what you're dealing with, and probably worse, to be honest." So, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Yeah. I wouldn't have it any other way. I appreciate every minute of my journey.
Well, let's talk about the life of a mid-major baseball coach. What does your day look like? Let's get into it. What does fundraising look like? Managing not only players, but coaches, and then dealing with internal issues inside the team or athletic department. Something tells me that it's just not all posing on the top step of the dugout.
No, it's the farthest thing from it. And again, I'm different, and, maybe other people can get things done in a different manner, but, I'm an early riser. And I'm lucky to have a little bit of a home office type area where, I get up in the morning and I knock out practice and I knock out some of the stuff that during the day that I think are really important that needs my full attention. Because once you walk in that office, it's full go. You have to be fully accessible to all 40 of your players. I'm lucky to have 6 other staff members, plus the other entities on campus and other areas, and doing the things that we need to do to make sure that we're running where we need to be and doing what we need to do. So I start early. I put about 90 minutes in at home before my kids get up, and then I'm able to get them to school and then my son to daycare, and then I go and I get in the office around 8 o'clock every day, maybe a hair later, and then and it's go. The fundraising piece is so big. I know for us it is. I know some places people got to really fundraise. Some people they don't. It just all depends. Mid-major coach has got to be a good fundraiser. We just opened up a $500,000 indoor facility. It's our weight room, 4 cages, player lounge. It's awesome, and I'm happy to say it's the only building on campus that came straight from fundraising dollars. So our alumni, friends, family, it took about 18 months to get it done. It's been a vision for 3 years, and it opened its door about 3 weeks ago, and our players have been using it religiously. And that's something we needed. To me, I felt like that was something that was 100%, had to be a go. We have new turf, we got a new bullpen, all these things, that are going to, my opinion, all these things attract good players, and then it developed good players. That's to me the obviously the cornerstone. I'm no dummy. Trust me. You could be the greatest coach in the world, but if you don't have good players, don't worry about it. It don't matter. if you got good players, you got a chance to be good. So that's what we focus on.
Yeah, I heard that the clubhouse was catered with fresh sushi in between doubleheaders.
No,
No,
not a web, or if you like Subway, you're in a good place.
right, and power bars. Well,
Yeah.
people out there always wonder why a small college coach schedules his team against a big Power 5 school, top 10 kind of club. There's many reasons for that. Please explain to the audience what those are.
Yeah, I mean, number one, it's what we tell our recruits in recruiting. We recruit different areas of the country, and I mean, listen, if you Boiling Springs, North Carolina, where we're at, right, and don't blink, you'll miss it. If you draw a 3-hour radius around where we're at, okay, you can get as far west as Knoxville, you know what I mean, and hit University of Tennessee, and then you get as far east as NC State, Chapel Hill, Duke. Like I just mentioned before, we're playing Georgia Tech here in a few weeks. They're 3 out. I mean, there's some serious baseball around us. I mean, we could play a serious schedule Tuesdays and Wednesdays. There's no doubt about it. And we challenge our recruits, and we tell them, like, hey, part of you coming here and being part of our program and family is we're going to play the best. We're going to go up against the big pro, but we want to do that. And we want to beat them. I mean, that's a big piece to it. So it's exciting on that end. And then, for that piece, the recruiting piece. And then also, I mean, we want to challenge and prepare ourselves for what's, listen, in our league this year, and might touch on, I mean, listen, Campbell got it going on. I mean, they're projected to host a regional right now. They're top 15 in the country. And we're going to play Georgia Tech before we play. I mean, that's, you know what I mean? That's a big deal. And that's going to allow us to be prepared to go play them. We're going to be ready. We're going to be ready.
Well, it's a big draw. Real quick, Rick, I just wanted to say that when a kid is considering a ball club, obviously he does some research on the coaching staff. He takes a look at the roster, sees where he may or may not fit in, but they always look at the schedule. And if they see you're playing a tough schedule, they want a piece of that, right? And then they look at the uniforms. The uniforms look, it's okay, good schedule, good uniforms. The fields kick ass. I like the coach we're in. And by the way, before we get into any more questions, because Rick's on deck here, look at the shirt that the young
JJ, look at
young man's wearing. Yeah, is Pittsburgh.
Oh, geez.
And that's because Dad grew up a Pirate fan. Rick, you got a Pirate story. You told me earlier.
I do. I mean, I got stupid Jimmy back in the days when the Orioles were playing the Pittsburgh Pirates and Chuck Tanner was managing the team. They introduced everybody in game one. You line up down the first and third base line. So I went up to shake hands with Earl Weaver, and I looked over at Chuck Tanner, and I said, Chuck, if you want to get it over with quick, I said, every time you get one of those speed demons you got on, let him try to steal. So he sent the first 3 guys that he had up there, and I threw them all out. And then all of a sudden, he got smart, because we had them beat. We were up 3-1, and we had them beat. And the next thing you know, they stopped running. They stopped giving you. You know how important every out is when you're behind in a title bout like they were. They stopped giving me those outs by trying to steal bases. And the next thing you know, they were the best offensive team in baseball at the time. We were pretty much shutting them down. They started to get that momentum back. And then, oh, my God. The light went on, and I said, you know what? They're not running anymore. So here I go opening my big mouth, and Chuck Tanner stops running. The next thing you know, they come back and win the last 3 games and beat us 7, in the 7th game. So that's my Pittsburgh story. But I'll tell you what, you love Willie Stargell. He was a great man and a great player, and I can't take anything away from him for hitting that game-winning home run in that 7th game.
Yeah. Wish it's the last time. I hate to use the word "we" because I'm not really involved, but the last time as a fan, we're in the World Series, and I'm patiently waiting. Listen, Pirates are off to a good start this year, so I'm on the bandwagon. I don't like calling the bandwagon, but I'm on it. I'm ready. We're going to the World Series. That's what I tell our players every day. I said, Pirates are going to World Series. They laugh at me, but it's part of being a fan, right? Part of being a fan.
You got to believe. There is no doubt about it. You have to believe.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
Well, Jimmy, let me go. You were talking a little bit previously You were at Division III, you moved up to Division II, you moved up to Division I, so you must be doing something right because you're successful again. I mean, now is that the time in the season when you start evaluating your team and you have to start looking for, some impact players that are going to help your ball club down the stretch. And like you say, you're no dummy. Your record proves it and your success proves it. What are you going to be looking for now in the second half that's going to get you maybe to the finish line where you want to be?
I think the biggest thing is staying healthy, right? And I'm really lucky on our staff. Like, I mean, listen, you're only as good as the people around you. I've learned that a long time ago. So I'm really blessed to have a great coaching staff. Our hitting coach, our offensive guy, Anthony Marks, played on Coastal Carolina's national championship team in 2016. So he played at a really high level and understands. Our pitching coach played at Penn State and then in the Blue Jays organization. Those guys have played a high level of baseball, and they keep me. I like to say it keep me in check a little bit because to understand what we need to do. And I hate to call him a little bit of a whistleblower. I'm an old school coach. I believe for what we get out of what we do is how hard we work. But also I got to remember too, we want to keep these guys healthy going down the stretch. But we won a great game last night, 3-1. We threw 8 guys. They were lights out. We played a pretty good game, but I don't know, when you're watching a game, I mean, I saw about 8 or 9 things we did wrong, and I wanted to correct them all today, but it was probably more important to be a little more rested and get some, and get our guys' bodies where they need to be more than drilling them with ground balls and fly balls and running bases and all that type of stuff. So I've learned to really, we got to take care of our players, and our strength coach does a great job, and we've got an outstanding routine from a mobility, flexibility, strength component to keep our guys healthy. And that's the most important thing for me down the stretch is, we've got some really good players, and they're going to be hitting stride. I mean, we feel like they've kind of been building up for their stride, and the whole goal is to play well at the end of the year, right? I mean, it's like in any level of baseball, the team that's playing the best
strong
wins, and I want our guys to be healthy, fresh for that stretch run. And, we want to dogpile here at the end of the year.
You touched earlier too on you talked about fundraising. That would be something that is so tough for me, asking people for money. But you run a lot of good summer camps and everything. Are a lot of your players, do they come from those summer camps? Tell me a little bit about that part of the program.
Yeah, so the twofold, the fundraising piece. I mean, so I take it on 100%. I think it's my job. I've learned I actually don't have any problem asking anybody for money, but again, I really, it's different where, I'm a visionary. I'm a big visionary guy. Like I have big dreams, visions. I got, things that we want to accomplish in our program. And I just know that we had a lot of alumni that have had a lot of great experiences at Gardner-Webb, and I just try to get them to reinvest back into the players. And we really try to explain to them what's going on there, and where their resources would go, and how it's going to affect the players, and how it's going to grow the program. And it's just amazing when you've got a passion and you've got a vision. I mean, people will jump on, and we've been really lucky. We have a huge all-in giving day next Thursday, and that's all I've been spending my time doing every day. I mean, I've got a whiteboard of probably 150 names. I'm going to talk to every single one. I'm almost about halfway through it. And, but that's what we got to do. I mean, we have to say, again, I could sit back and make excuses, or I could say it's someone else's job. I could say it's this out, but no, I mean, I got to take the bull by the horns. And if we're going to grow, I mean, I've got to push that envelope. So it's a big piece. And camps is a big piece too. But I mean, I'm sure you guys have read the news and seen a lot of things that go on in college baseball. I mean, it's the volunteer coach is now going away, but that doesn't mean every school is going to fund a position. I mean, that's still going to be through camps. So we give a majority of our camp money to our assistant coaches, and they we got to keep guys. They're working for nothing, and I tell them you got to have a story. I got a story. They got to have a story when they sit in front of somebody in their next interview and explain how they kind of made it through and did what they need to do. But we've got to do the camp stuff, and we've done really well with camps. And I'd say I'd have to really go through our roster and see, but I'd say good 7-8 8, 9 guys came from camp. Or we identified and then had them come to camp, and that kind of solidified our decision. Camp's a big deal. I really encourage anyone listening. Like, I mean, I tell kids all the time, especially young ones, that like, I'm like, they say they want to go play at, I don't know, UCLA or Texas or whatever. And I said, well, go to their camp. And if you don't make it out of the parking lot and you're not on a tour by the end of it, well, then you're probably not going there. It's just the way.
That's laying it out there for them.
Oh, I know. I mean, the game will tell you where you're going to play, right? I mean, that's the kind of, you go, you do, it'll explain, it'll tell you straight up what's going on. And, but camp's a big deal. And like, I mean, if you go to a bunch of Power 5 camps and, you're not quite making it, I mean, I don't know. I tell them there's only one Rudy story. I mean, you can get caught up in it, but there's only one of them. So don't, you know what I mean? You just, you got to accept where you're going to play and enjoy and really make the most of that experience.
Yeah. Let's talk about your biggest rival, and how do you get kids jacked up for that kind of a contest?
I'll be honest with you. Since I've been here, we'd say Campbell's a rival. I'm not sure they would in so many ways, but like it's always, they've been really competitive games in a lot of ways. Unfortunately, we've been on the other end of the stick a little bit. In 21, we had a third rounder that really neutralized them and, allowed us to get a couple victories against those guys that year. But, I know our guys get excited to play those guys because they're good. I mean, they're at the top of the mountain. And I want them to keep winning. So when we play them in a series here in a month or so, like, hope they're top 10 in the country. You know what I mean? That's what we want to do. It's what we want to play. Appalachian State's not far from us in Boone. They're not in our conference, but that's kind of a rival, just a Western North Carolina thing, and good crowds when we play them and some different things. And yeah, it's, I really try to recruit self-motivated kids. I feel like I got to be a motivator. I mean, it's part of being a coach. You know what I mean? I feel like the way I and we, meaning our staff, carry ourselves on a daily basis in a blue collar manner and really work as hard as we can. We hope that really translates to our club. But if I got to motivate guys all the time, like I don't have a lot of patience for that, to be honest. I really don't. I mean, if you can't get motivated to play baseball, like, I don't know, you know what I mean? You got to go do something else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's just the way I am. You know what I mean? I'm motivated every day I get up. I'm ready to go, ready to compete, ready to fight, ready to work, do whatever we need to do, claw to get better, whatever it takes. And the day I wake up and I don't feel that way, well, I'm getting out. Because I'm cheating the kids, I'm cheating the school, I'm cheating everybody. So I try to get like-minded young men that want to, you know what I mean? I just keep going back to that word, want to compete. Just want to compete on a daily basis.
Well, they compete on the field, but they also have to compete in the classroom. So do coaches recruit for grades and all? They might be good players. That coach might need a spike in team GPA, or the kid is good enough to where he'd also be good in the dugout. Maybe there's a future for him in the program, but he might not be an everyday starter. Do you look for hole fillers?
Yeah. In so many ways. I mean, we try, and this is the whole goal. When we recruit somebody, we recruit them with the premise that they do something that will help us win a baseball game. Okay. Whether it's how they run, what they can do at the plate, is there that type of athlete? There's going to be that tool that can help us win a baseball game. How that tool develops and how they develop, again, that's on us and them to figure out, and how they become that piece of the puzzle. But grades are really important. I mean, I think the one thing that's missed a lot of times is like the majority of the money that comes for baseball. I mean, we have some great academic packages. I mean, we've got some really good academic students that are almost on full tuition, like scholarship academically, and no baseball. And that's better than some of the baseball offers based off their academics. So yeah, it's a big piece. Now, listen, I like to be honest and upfront and truthful, but if we have a left-handed arm that's 92, 94, and he needs a little help in the classroom, well, we're going to find that help for him. We're going to get him on our roster. I mean, there's
on the field.
If we got a center fielder that's a 6'5" runner, that, it can leave the yard. You know what I mean? And maybe he needs a little extra tutoring in math. Well, we're going to find that for them, and we're going to make it work. So any coach that doesn't tell you that's not telling the truth. But I'm proud to tell you, as much success as we've had on the field so far this season, we had a 3.6 GPA in the fall. We've got some great kids that are great students. I mean, it's pretty remarkable how well we did in the classroom. So we're really blessed. We've got good kids that are good students, and they're good players too.
Good answer.
Jimmy, you know that you were talking about recruiting, and I don't really know exactly what your territory would be. Do you get to come out to the West Coast, Texas and Arizona in order, to get your players? Are you allowed to expand like that?
Yeah, we can. I mean, I'd be really honest. We don't have the resource a lot of times to get out and see somebody even once. You know what I mean? On the West Coast, we have to really utilize our resources. And listen, I mentioned a little bit about, like, just in the state of North Carolina, some of the programs that are in our place, around our place. I mean, I mean, from the East Carolina to Duke to North Carolina, NC State. They said go on and on and on. I'll be real with you. I mean, a lot of kids don't wake up every day and go, I want to go to Gardner-Webb, that live in North Carolina. I mean, they want to be a Tar Heel. They want to join a Wolfpack. They want to do. I understand some of that. The success we've had has been in the Northeast, a lot of ways. We do have really good Southern players. Don't get me wrong. We have some North Carolina kids that have developed. They're great and they're awesome, and they love the program. But it's really tough for us to compete with all the other programs in our state. So I'm from the Northeast. We had a third rounder from Pittsburgh 2 years ago. That's going to make us. We hope he's in AAA right now. He's going to make a major league debut this year. We also, our Friday starters from Massachusetts. He's going to be a draft guy. Our Saturday starter this year is from Pittsburgh. We feel like he's going to be a top 10 round pick next year. So, I mean, that's where I was born and raised and did a lot of my career. So we recruit a lot of kids that want to get to this climate too. And but we'll recruit coast to coast. We've got players from everywhere. But if I'm, there's a lot of fluff out there right now, right? Like with these events and tournaments, and I mean, it's unbelievable, right? Like it's just I can't even keep up with all of it. All I know is I've been doing this 20 years. I've got pockets of people across the country that I trust, that know what a good player is. I talk to the same people all the time, and I say, hey, I need this, this, and this. And they've been coming through for a long time. And again, that's probably why we've won a few more games than we've lost is, we've got some good players, and so I got some trust.
Yeah.
We also recruit South Florida very hard. Our catcher's from South Florida, our center fielder is. There's more players in that area than there are roster spots. There's only so many kids that can go to UM or some of that. And so we recruit that, and there's some really good players that got chips on their shoulders that want to play Division I baseball, and we've had a lot of success in South Florida too.
But with all of that, I mean, do you use the portal? I know Kel, my partner Kel, he loves that portal. He always talking about the portal challenge and everything. But is that a good for you? You can get a lot of players are playing musical chairs, and they're all over the darn place. But like if you know all the good names, then you know exactly where to go. How do you use the portal?
Extensively. Yes. I mean, I'm on it every day. I'm on it every day. In fact, I was on it about a half hour ago. It's our best players have came from it. I was just talking a little bit before you jumped on. During the national anthem the other day, I kind of just did a quick count, and I was looking at who was starting that day and what we had going on. We had 5 high school players and 4 transfers out on that field to start the game. I really believe that you need to be 55, 45, or somewhere in that vicinity of high school player transfer. I think at Gardner-Webb or our level, I think if we recruited all high school players, we wouldn't be that competitive. I mean, there's just a lot of misses. It's like scouting, right? I mean, it's really hard to get a kid at 17 and, you need him to be 21 and he's not, you know what I mean? You have to wait and project and see what he is. And what are we all looking for, right? The surest thing. And nowadays in college baseball, I mean, it's the closest thing to a sure thing is a transfer. You're getting somebody that's physically more developed and closer to their final product. There's not as much more projection. You kind of know what you're getting. And, the lifeline on our jobs gets shorter by the day. We're paid to win now. And again, I don't fault any coaches sometimes for taking what I call the closest thing to a sure thing, but also too, we believe in development too. I mean, it's huge. So again, I think if we recruited all transfers, we'd have a bad culture, but we have a great culture. So, I mean, our transfer stuff's plug and play. This year, our starting shortstop's a 1-year guy. He's a D2 All-American. He can really play. We needed a shortstop this year. So we went and recruited him and signed him, and he fit right in. And listen, with the way summer ball is and travel ball now and all that, I mean, the cohesiveness comes much quicker than it used to, in my opinion. Some people thought teams had to play together for 2 or 3 years. These guys are around each other for 2 or 3 days, and it's like they've known each other forever because of the social media and the messaging and the pictures. And
right,
it's different. It's really different. So when everyone says, like, or if anyone says, there's too many new guys and you can't gel, I think it's a bunch of nonsense. I think there's a lot of it going on in college basketball. You've seen across the country this year, teams, I think it's a little ridiculous to get like 5-6 portal guys and, try to win a league. I think it's tough, but I don't know if I've got a chance, like going into the season, we thought we were going to be good and we needed a couple pieces. I couldn't play freshmen in those spots. We would be 10-21.
Yeah. Was the shortstop you were talking about, Jacob McCaskey?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
my kids played with him in Palm Springs. He's a good kid.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. He knows. You could ask him, Casey and Cato Kleinman. He was there. That was a fun team, and I think that was the most fun they've ever had in summer ball. It was played a former minor league park that Rick probably played in during spring training out there in Palm Springs, right? It was the Angels' old spring training haunts. But absolutely. Hey, it's time for word association. I have a lot of fun with this. I need you could respond. It doesn't have to be one word. It could be yes, no, but it could also be a very quick little, first thought that comes to your mind. Sure. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
It's the fun part. Facial hair on a player.
Yes.
Players with big social media following.
Absolutely.
Players with wealthy parents.
Double yes.
I knew he was going to say. Panic level in the 5th year of a contract. 1 to 10.
High. Not 12.
Right. Grass or art? I love this. Grass or artificial turf?
Turf. All day long.
Are you a former infielder?
I am, but I also am a former, I coached Division III baseball in the Northeast and Division II. Yeah. I'm a former groundskeeper too.
Oh, Lord.
And I've got stories and too much time and aches and pains. And everyone says, what's the best part about Gardner-Webb? I go, turf.
Turf.
We're full turf. I haven't touched a rake in 4 years.
Sweet.
And I sit there, we're on the road, and those guys are out there breaking their backs, watering the field and all that. I go, you dummies. Like,
Sure.
I don't know. Listen, there's a lot of satisfaction in getting the field ready. And there's days where I've kind of like miss it, but as I'm getting into my mid-40s and like I don't miss it one bit. So I'm a turf guy. Turf. All.
Infielders that pop the glove before throwing.
No, negative. Big negative.
Here's one, Rick, for us. Catchers extending their legs out to get under a pitch with runners on base.
Not a fan.
Do they do it at Gardner-Webb?
Yes and no. We have one that does, and we have one that doesn't.
Yeah.
And I'm a comfort guy, right? I think I told you a little bit about that.
Yeah.
And we haven't had any major mistakes because as soon as we did, like there'd be a major change.
Yeah. Hear ya. Last one. Independent college advisors that charge to get kids on a roster.
Depends. I know you want one word, so my depends means, it depends on who they are because I work with some really good ones, and then there's some crazy fluff out there. Crazy. Yeah. It's not real. But there is some that's real.
It's a big business out there right now. There's a lot of them running around.
It's huge, and I can't tell you I'm a crazy fan of it, but and I don't want to make a long story short, but 20 years ago when I got into this, and then people started, the travel ball started getting big, and everyone started. The guys that would say, "Oh, travel ball's stupid. I'm just going to stick with Legion and all that and do what I've done." Well, they got out of the game. Then social media showcases came around, and everyone said, "Oh, why are we going to do that? Why am I going to be involved with that? Blah blah blah." You know what I mean? That's stupid. Well, they're out too. You know what I mean? You got to adapt. So if you don't adapt, I mean, you'll be left behind. So if that's the way it's going, I mean, you got to find the right mold and the right mix.
Yeah, appreciate that. Before we get into Rick's last thoughts or questions, we have a little thing we call a player spotlight. I don't know that we did it last week when we had, who do we have? Mike Sosha. But we're going to throw it out there today. And these are players that they certainly might be committed, but some of them are uncommitted and some of them are already playing the game. Number one would be outfielder Mike Mugen, 11 home runs, 409 hitter, 21 stolen bases out of Monterey Peninsula College, a D1 bounce back. He can run and has a rocket, and he leads California, the state of California, in total bases. Out of Central Florida, John Morant, 432 leadoff guy, with 11 home runs and 47 ribbies from that leadoff position. That's quite a lot of production. And a quick shout out to Charles Messino at Pepperdine, who had a big day versus UCLA with 5 RBIs. He's a natural lefty hitter. Should have a green light planted right on his batting helmet. He's that good, in my opinion. So a shout out to all of him. And then we've got Rick Dempsey's last thoughts or questions, words. What do you think? What do you think, Rick?
Well, you know what? I loved asking all of the college coaches because, again, here we are interviewing a guy that's got the kind of passion in the game that I just love to hear about. You guys, you can tell why you're doing what you're doing. You can tell how much you love the game. You can tell why you're successful because you're kind of old school. And, I just don't like the way Major League Baseball is heading right now with all the stupid rules changes and things like that, and catchers going to one knee. Because I watch the games, I watch so many playoff games and World Series games and games during this day, and catchers have to go to one knee all the time with somebody. You're inviting the stolen base, which puts more pressure on your pitcher. These are the kind of things that I don't believe they should be teaching at the college level. And I would think that most of the guys that we interview don't do it that way. If it happens at the big leagues, you can't do anything. But the guys teaching up there never played the game. And they're telling major league catchers how to go to one knee, and they're losing. You win at the college level because you do things right, but you lose at the major league level. And I just don't think it's right. What are your thoughts, Jim?
Well, I kind of I've turned myself, he's talking about adapting, right? And so he's talking about I've turned myself into a hybrid. I'm a ball coach, right? I'm a field rat. I love being out there. I enjoy coaching. I enjoy challenging our guys. I enjoy watching development. I enjoy development through repetition. I enjoy watching the growth of a player, right? All these type of things. I think the numbers is there's a metric piece. I mean, I don't know. I knew what exit velo was 25 years ago when a guy hit it hard. I mean, that was 100 probably. And, when the guy didn't, it was less in so many ways. It wasn't that hard to figure out. Unfortunately now with recruiting, you have to have the metrical stuff. Because the kids have it, they know everything. And and our pitching coach all in on all this pitching stuff, and the kids love it and they get it. To me, it's like a video game, right? I mean, what are these kids glued to? I mean, we've got iPads and cameras and all this type of stuff. But I still believe in my gut. I still believe in the decision-making process is not fully off of what some computer printout tells me. I mean, it's about what I feel. I mean, I know our heartbeats better than anybody. I know what our kids can do and what they can't. And I don't care what some piece of paper tells me in so many ways. So again, we're still going to work and develop through hard work and through repetition and through blood, sweat, and tears. I mean, that's been at the ground level of anything that I've ever done, and that's never going to change. And if it ever did, again, I would probably step away. But I do believe that we got to have access to data and metric. But we don't need to like rely on it, if that makes sense.
Right.
We don't do that type of stuff. But again, like, I mean, the game is changing. I mean, we have the pitch clock, we've got the pace of play clock, we've got all that stuff. I mean, try not to be like pretty professional, but I think it's a bunch of crap. I mean, it's just I've seen this year. I mean, we've had instances where, I mean, we've had guys that had 1-1 counts and get banged on a strike. You know what I mean? You go from 1-1 obviously to 1-2. Yeah. It's a big deal, right? You know, we go 2-1 to 2-2. You kidding me? Like, it's a peak. Like, and I don't think like umpires or people understand like the swings these counts make in a lot of ways. And like, there's some silly stuff going on. And again, I'm a lowest kind of totem pole, but like, I will tell you, again, this is funny to tell you. I'm a Major League Baseball. Like, I follow the Pirates, right? I read about it every morning and stuff. But I am not like, I can't sit here and tell you the best 10 players in Major League Baseball. I'm not that kind of fan.
Yeah.
I don't watch like a crazy amount of it. I'm just so engulfed in what I do. Like, it's tough. Like, sometimes I want to get, like, I just step away from it. When I step away from it, it's not watching a Major League game. And I can't relate completely to every rule that's going on. I don't know how much it's changed some things or what's going on or the pace. So I don't even know. But I know in college baseball here, just over however many weeks it's been, there's been a little bit of a happy medium with this pitch clock and timing and stuff. There's kind of like, it was really extreme opening weekend. Crazy whistles blowing and stopwatches and craziness. But now it's kind of slowed down a little bit. Like, there's kind of a medium because I think people are realizing like it's a little crazy. So
yeah, it takes some adjusting.
What's that?
Yeah. I was just going to say all these rule changes take some adjusting.
Yeah. I'll just finish with Jim and say, I like the stats and the things that they give you to give you an advantage of dealing with certain players in the batter's box, that kind of thing. I like that. I don't like it written in stone, because the one thing that computers can't analyze is game situation. And when you got that big guy up there and he's got you in the hole, and I was always thinking, where do I want him to get his base hit? On the ground the opposite way was the answer 99% of the time. The odds are still in your favor because 7 out of 10 times they make an out, and those are the best players on the field. So that was my approach. Sometimes it may have sounded negative that I was giving up the base hit, but I kept the big boy on the field and I gave him one base, which really happened probably about 65-70% of the time. And then all it did was set up a double play. And I felt much more comfortable trying to get that double play than trying to get that big guy out of there in a one-run game and trying to keep my pitcher in it. So, after 8 divisional titles and 3 World Series and plenty of great World Series runs, I felt like I was pretty successful with that kind of approach. And I just don't like the approach nowadays that they have, where they're teaching these guys to uppercut. You probably see it at your level. They teach them to uppercut, and what they do, they'll hit that occasional home run every 15, 20 at bats. But, the batting averages are 150 and 160, and these guys are starting all the time at the major league level. There's just something not right about that. Teach them how to hit, and they'll hit their share of home runs.
Yeah, there's no doubt that, home runs are mistakes sometimes. I mean, that's just,
absolutely. That's
the way
hit them when you're not trying.
A little bit of the strategy, and you're just talking baseball right there, right? Like, I mean, I'm being honest with you. If you had that conversation with 90% of the high school players out there right now, they'd have no idea what you're talking about. They'd have no. They have no. I'm being honest, and it's not. I don't know whose fault it is. It's not the kid's fault, but I've been through 17. It's my 17th season as a head coach, and I've been through 17 falls. Falls are a big deal, right? Like, it's the development. It's where you figure out your team. It's where you break guys down and build them back up. It's to me, it's just as important as the spring. I mean, the fall is a big deal. I mean, it is getting a little harder each fall. I mean, I'm talking from secondary leads to hit and runs to sacrifice bunts to, I mean, it's stuff that you feel would be second nature is not.
The fundamental. Yes.
Yeah. And I'll be honest with you, at the time we get with guys, we spend a lot of time. You sit out there for, an hour and a half going over sacrifice bunt. I mean, it's just like, I don't know. It's just there's some things there. It's like, hey man, like you should, you know what I mean? What was going on here for the last 17 years? Like what was going, like, you know what I mean? I didn't bunt. I said, well, you do here. I said, so, get ready. You know what I mean?
It is about winning, Jim. It is about winning. Yeah, you want to develop. That's your job. Develop that team. But that team ought to have it in their mind to be part of a winner, to win, W-I-N. Not to worry about getting 3 hits a game or how well you do individually. It's a team sport,
Win. Yeah.
And that's the bottom line for me, is win, and not a $300 million contract. You'll get your money, what you deserve, when the time comes. But the bottom line is be part of a winner.
Yeah, well, that's what I tell I was the last thing I share. I tell our guy, I share with them all the time. Most of the time at the end of practice, I tell them all the time, like, I'm telling you, 20 years from now, you guys leave, you're going to come back here, alumni game, or you're going to meet up or do whatever. None of you are going to remember any of your stats. And if you do, I said, you're selfish. I said, but you're going to remember how many games we won, the big games we won, the dramatic games we won, and how we won them, right? Like, so
yeah.
What things were done late in the game? You know what I mean? The fundamental pieces, who laid down the bunt, who got the big hit, who made the big play, you know what I mean? Who did all like that? Those are the things you're going to remember, not the one game you had 3 hits and, 2 doubles or whatever. I mean, that stuff kind of goes away, at least in my mind it does, but I remember some of the few games that I played in college that we won, won a championship, did something. I remember all that verbatim, like perfectly, but something you don't remember, you know what I mean? That's what, but kids don't understand that till they get out and down the road, you know what I mean? That's
Yeah. Well, that's about all the time we have for today. If you want to find where we have this particular webcast in its entirety, we are now homing. Our home field is it's twoadays.com. 2adays, ADAYS.com. It's the only resource online where you can actually rate and review a coach, or go and review the coach's ratings yourself. As you do that, all important research to find out where you might end up. It's an expensive decision, so you want to give yourself as much information as you possibly can before you make that decision, as well as get other valuable resources in your recruiting journeys. From the Stanley A. Glickman Theater in beautiful Calabasas, California, that's about all the time we have today. Again, thanks to Coach Jim Chester of a wonderful college and a fantastic baseball program. Recruits, take a look at it. It's Gardner-Webb. They are the Bulldogs. It's Gardner-Webb University. And, of course, the one and only Rick Dempsey. We want to thank you. And follow us, retweet us, and comment. We are the Prospect Blueprint. Thanks for watching.